Okay, we're recording. Right, so D1, Summer 2017. The first question was a sorting algorithm question. I don't know why, I just kind of looked at Louis then. Right, the following list is to be arranged into increasing order from smallest to largest. Use the bubble sort to arrange the list. Starting at the left-hand side of the list, record the whole list at the end of each pass. There is no need to show the individual comparisons or swaps. They don't care about us counting them up. We don't have to show a complete pass as we do it. I think you did actually have the original list written out in the answer booklet, didn't you? But there's the original list. Now, one thing that you didn't lose marks for not doing, but I would advise you to do, is to label each pass. So the end of the first pass, we're going to write what the list looks at. And remember, so increasing order, so the 12 would swap with the 10, 12 would swap with 3, 12 would swap with 6, 12 wouldn't need to swap with 12, but 12 would swap with 4, and 12 would swap with 5, so 12 is in the correct position. You don't have to indicate that, but that's what we'll put. That was 1 mark for your list at the end of the first pass. The second pass, 10 would swap with 3, 10 would swap with 6, 10 wouldn't need to change with 12, 12 would swap with 4, 12 would swap with 5, so now we have the two 12s at the end of the list. The third pass, now this is where we get our second mark for this being correct. 3 wouldn't need to swap, 6 wouldn't need to swap, but 10 and 4 would swap, 10 and 5 would swap. So that's the list after 3 passes. We have a fourth pass that would swap the 4 with the 6. So 3 and 6 wouldn't. 6 and 4 would swap, 6 and 5 would swap. We now know that they are in the correct position. Even though we are intelligent people and can now see the list is in ascending order, we haven't finished because the algorithm hasn't told us to stop yet. So the fifth pass is crucial. The fifth pass involves no change. And that's what tells us to stop. And that's important that that fifth pass is there for completeness. And that was your third mark. So the third mark was for actually doing the fourth and fifth pass where nothing changes. It's important to recognise that. You don't just stop when you think that you've got the list sorted. Okay. A different list was arranged into increasing order using bubble sort. The following list is what was obtained after the first pass. Write down 2 possible orders of the original list. So if that's what it was like after the first pass, we're going to think, what could it have been like? Well, that number 40 has ended up at the end of the list. So if it had been 40 and then 27 and then 8 and 14, that would work, wouldn't it? Because the first pass would swap the 40 and 27, then swap the 40 and 8, and then swap the 40 and 14. So it could look like that. The other thing that could have happened is that the 27, we need to make sure that the 27 and the 40 were together, really, don't we? Because otherwise the 27 would end up moving past the 8 and the 14. So the other option is if it had started 27 and then 40 and then 8 and 14, it must be, wasn't it? And that way you would get the same second pass. Okay. The crucial thing is that that 27 has to be close to the 40, so it doesn't end up swapping with the 8 and the 14. Right, how many more passes will be needed to complete the sort, excluding the first? It was nice that actually I think pretty much everybody did this really well. So if the second pass was like that, then the third pass, so that's after the first pass, isn't it? Yeah, so the second pass would take 27, swap with 8, 27, swap with 14, and that would have the list in the correct order, but to complete the sort we would need to do a pass in which there was no change. So your answer for this one is 2 more. And that's, again, that's that important bit that although we recognise that 1 further pass would get the list into the correct order, the algorithm requires us to have a pass that has no changes at the end of it. So that is important. Right, Great, lots of people did really well with that. That's question one.